So every golf tee you've seen before, typically a wooden golf tee, or most golf tees are a circle on top. You look at the tee from the top down and you've got a circle. And then performance golf tees, they come on the market and they try to reduce friction on the tee. But they try to reduce the friction on the tee in all directions of that tee, 360-degree orientation, because they don't know which direction you're placing that tee. So they're trying to just reduce friction in all directions. So that actually limits you because you now have to conform all the way around. What we take advantage of here is a very simple first principle, and that's when you're driving, when you're teeing off, you're only hitting in one direction. So if that's the case, why not maximize as much friction reduction as possible in that direction, which leads to increased performance?
Hi, this is DJ DeGala, and I'm from Valparaiso, Indiana. I play the Creekside Golf Course. This is Golf Smarter number 926.
Proven by science, longer and straighter off the tee. Flightpath golf tees with inventor Dr. Daniel Whalen.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Daniel.
Hi, Fred. How we doing?
We're doing great. It is so good to have you back on because I want to hear how exciting the year was for Flightpath golf tees.
Yeah, we've been ramping up. It was great talking with you about this time last year. Kind of going through the background and introducing the product to you and the viewers there. And yeah, this year has been all about growth and scale, and we've seen a lot of it through the year. And it's nice to come around in full circle and end the year with you here on the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's great to have you back on. It's not something, it's a topic that would be like, yeah, we'll do it once and move on with it. But I've been reading about you guys. There's great reviews that keep coming out and there's buzz about it. And I just, knowing you were a new company, I'm like curious what happens next, what's going on. So let's start with the reviews that have been coming in. I guess we start with My Golf Spy.
Sure. Yeah, and it's what we really saw over this year was a nice baseline of organic growth, a nice following, a nice loyal following, nice repeat purchases. So it was good to see a level playing field where our sales are increasing, and it's not necessarily from a higher marketing reach. It's just organic growth and repeat customers, and that's what every business wants to see in their products, and especially typically, when you back the product and you rely on something that provides value to the customer, you typically see that growth. So it was a nice win for us to see that month to month through 2023.
Yeah. And repeat customers generally means testimonials. I mean, that means people are talking about it with their friends. They're like, yeah, I'm still using these. And they're like, well, tell me what you got here, because that happened to me. A friend of mine, my friends have given me a hard time about these tees for years because I've been using them for years, and it feels like it. How long have you been on the market now?
We've been online since 2020, I think. Mid 2020, We really kind of came onto the scene online. So just that 3 years, over 3 years.
Yeah, that's where I first saw it and bought a box and loved it and saw results. And so my friends give me a hard time about it. But then a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine sent me an article that he read. And it was from fastfit.co. And the title of the article was The World's Most Advanced Golf Tee. You may not have seen that one.
I think there's a number of them I haven't seen. It's nice when I have friends or relatives send me links to information they're seeing online. Sometimes they're articles that I've seen before. Sometimes they're ones I haven't seen. That one I can't pinpoint off the top of my head, but hopefully it was a good read. And if it's making the reach, that's great. That's great for the product.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. And My Golf Spy as well, right?
Yeah, My Golf Spy. We had that original article. They did the T-test in 2021. Then they redid their same testing via video. I don't know if they chose the same tees, but they've done a number of tests now, and we've got a good amount of advertising through them without, independently, not with any collaboration or work, just in their own independent testing. So it's nice to see that, recurring.
And they've got a lot of street cred.
Yeah. Yeah. So our what we liked most about that original article and what we had talked about before was seeing I have a picture of it. Let me see if I can pull it up. It may not show up too well on the video, but I have a.
That's okay. It's an audio podcast.
Oh, yeah. For the viewers that can't see, there is maybe you cannot see the green square there. So of the claims tested amongst the tees, we did get a green check mark in seeing and benefit and accuracy, and none of the other tees got any green check marks. But to see an indication of performance benefit from a golf tee, I haven't seen that done on any other product independently tested. I've seen plenty of the manufacturers putting out information that their product is the best, but to have an independent company,
of course,
provide that type of data was a real benefit to us.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah. That's fabulous. And what other success stories have you been hearing and getting from your customers?
Well, I think, and you hit home on it when you mentioned giving the tees to their friends. Considering how long it kind of takes to break the tees, and you typically, if you don't break a tee, you lose one, maybe one or two
right.
around. So we suspect the repeat customers initially are probably people that are giving half the box to their friends. They go play around a foursome, and somebody gives it to three of their buddies, and now the half their box is gone, and next thing you know, they're buying a second pack. So I think we're seeing a lot of that growth. And, spreading from there. And then those buddies that are trying it for the first time, liking it, having a good experience, and then making their first initial purchase. So I think that we're seeing a lot of that growth through this year. And given that this is our third year on the market, that's kind of trends well with new businesses. Our first year, we didn't really have any reach or any marketing. We didn't have packaging that really got into retail stores. So it really, just getting our name out there the first couple of years was great. And now that the product is out and people have had time to test it and try it, now we're really seeing a growth from a loyalty and an organic standpoint.
Yeah. The friend who sent me the article, I said, well, listen, next time we play, I'll bring a tee for you and you can check it out. Right. Because he was always reluctant to do it. Because I think he gets annoyed with me going, I got to find my tee. I got to find my when I hit it with a driver, especially, it can fly in many different directions.
He's not calling you on pace of play, is
he? They all call me on pace of play. I don't want to go there. But I don't think I'm slow. I'm deliberate.
Our tee cannot help with that, unfortunately.
No, they cannot help with that. But anyway, so when we played, I let him use the tee, and he was hitting the ball right up the middle every time. And I'm like, well, towards the end of the round, what do you think of the tee? And he goes, well, I made some changes to my swing, so it's been better lately. So I'm not really sure. I'm like, oh, come on, give me a break. Then a couple of weeks later, we played again, and he was still using that tee. And I was like, so they are durable and you are using it. And he goes, yeah, and I'm hitting the ball straight.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Like really impressed.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Maybe not so good if you're competing with him, but that's great to hear.
Well, we do compete, and of all the friends I play with, he and I are the closest match, and it's always one or two strokes going into the last hole.
Oh man.
And we keep track of match play, stroke play, and number of putts. So yeah, we are pretty competitive.
Got to do
just for bragging rights.
Number of fairways hit.
We're gonna have to add something. Yeah. With the tee, we're gonna definitely have to add number of fairways hit.
Well, we love to hear that. Though.
So
that's great.
Give me a rundown for those who've not heard about your product, Flightpath golf tees. Just give me a quick rundown of what makes them unique.
Sure. Yeah. So every golf tee you've seen before, typically a wooden golf tee, or most golf tees are a circle on top. You look at the tee from the top down and you've got a circle. And then performance golf tees, there's numerous performance golf tees. They come on the market and they try to reduce friction on the tee. But they try to reduce the friction on the tee in all directions of that tee, 360-degree orientation, because they don't know which direction you're placing that tee. So they're trying to just reduce friction in all directions. So that actually limits you because you now have to conform all the way around. So the advantage what we take advantage of here is a very simple first principle. And that's when you're driving, when you're teeing off, you're only hitting in one direction. So hopefully. So if that's the case, why not maximize as much friction reduction as possible in that direction, which leads to increased performance. So we basically just provide the golfer as much benefit as we can from that wooden tee. So with that direction and the arrow down the fairway and the pointing the direction there, we remove the friction both in front of you and on both sides of the ball to decrease the side spin in case you have a little bit of a draw or you have a little bit of a fade, and then also increase distance by removing that friction. So that's the premise of it. It's a very simple concept, but when applied, provides maximum benefit to the golfer.
Incredible. Listen, we're going to take a time out and we'll be back right after this. Daniel, you said that it's a very simple concept. Why are you the first one to come up with this idea of creating less friction in the direction you're hitting off the tee?
That's a great question, Fred. I think it has to do with the idea that we typically innovate from the top down. This is within all industries. You always go for the low-hanging fruit, and the low-hanging fruit is typically what's innovated first. So if we were to talk about, let's take cars, for example, you're going to innovate the bigger components of a car first, the comfort of the car, the performance of the car. By the time you get down to the tires of the car, you've probably already looked at and innovated other components of, the main driving force of the car. So in terms of golf, and you look at the products in golf and what is actually giving you, what are the components that make the golfer, go from being at the tee box to putting a ball in the fairway. They've got their driver, which is probably, other than their swing, other than their mechanics, equipment wise, it's probably their drivers, the majority of the performance. Their golf ball is certainly a contributor. Their golf shoes, maybe to a lesser extent, the golf glove, and then the golf tee. So from a timeline scale, we see that, the golf clubs, from the shafts, the grips, the driver head, we see tons of innovation there. We have started seeing a lot of innovation in golf balls following suit. I think in the last 10 to 15 years, you now start seeing it in shoes, and in maybe the last 5 to 10 years in gloves. I think the golf tee, because it's down to the very little, like the last 1 and 2% in the components. I just don't think that it was given the attention to try to innovate. And now that we are at this point where we can grab those 1 and 2%, I think we were somebody that were able to come out and take advantage of that and finally innovate that wooden tee that you always stick in the ground when you go out and play.
Yeah. And I would think that people look at this and going, what kind of margins can we make? I mean, how many tees do we have to sell to make a living out of this? But you've got a job, right?
I do. Yeah. I work as an engineer. I have a passion in water engineering and very fulfilling and working in that space, in that industry. So I pull benefit and enjoyment from being on both sides of the coin.
So this is your annuity, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But you invented this product. You came up with the initial design, but not the initial idea.
That is correct.
Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's really a father-son story. My dad,
That's awesome.
My dad got me into golf when I was 7 years old. He's the one that taught me to play. We share that together. That's where him and I bond on the golf course, and we have my entire life. He has always been a tinkerer, an inventor. He has a patent for he held the patent for fingerprint firearm technology. So he's gone off and he likes to invent things. And he had this dream and this idea. It was physically a dream, it was a fall asleep and have a dream is what it was, of a completely frictionless golf ball just kind of floating on air, and thinking, that'd be really cool if we could invent something that did that. So being the engineer that I am, I thought, well, let me see how far I can get with that. We prototyped some different inventions and made some little prototype models, and realized very quickly it's going to take a lot of effort to make something, near frictionless. Which is where we decided to just try to improve the standard design. What can we do to move the needle forward from a regular golf tee and from the performance tees? And that's really where we settled on Flightpath.
So how did you get from a ball floating in the air to just a simple tee, but it gives you directional insight and also the frictionless launch, right?
After trying to create something that was near frictionless, when you're talking about levitating with air, and realizing the scope and scale of cost to do that with a golf ball and the weight of the golf ball, past a prototype standpoint, which was fun. But in terms of entering the market with something competitive that we can bring out and still provide benefit, it really came down. I spent some time just thinking about zooming into a golf tee and just looking at it and just playing around with the metrics of, well, how can we improve? How can we remove more friction? And once the thought came into my head that, well, if we can just assume the parameter that is the direction they're hitting, we just opened ourselves up to a lot more friction percent-wise that we can remove. And since no other golf tee had done that at the time, that just seemed like a great avenue for us to really improve and raise the bar that on golf tees and really drive that forward.
So the next question is always going to come up, and I'm sure it's not just coming from me, but everyone wants to make sure, is it legal? Is it USGA compliant? Can I take it out and use it on my local tournaments?
Yes, a great question. And the answer to that is yes, it is USGA conforming. We have USGA conformance on both of our sizes, the 2.75 and the 3.25. Another opportunity for us in the market too, the rules of golf state that you cannot have a directional indicator on your golf tee. However, the rule applies if when you address the ball, you tee up your golf ball and you address the ball. If you can see that indicator, that is an illegal golf tee. You're not allowed to do that because you've now addressed the ball. It shows the line of play. But because our arrow is small and you cannot see it at address, it does not provide that line of play at address. We were able to get USGA conformance. So you can use them in tournaments. PGA players can use them in tournaments. Tiger can tee it up at the Masters. It's legal. It's conforming. We get that question often, and we strongly recommend, if anybody does question it, call USGA's equipment rules and conformance, and they will let you know that yes, it is USGA conforming. So we encourage that. We recommend it. We put the USGA conformance on our website, the letter, so that we can show that we're conforming and that people can use them in tournaments.
And what about on your packaging?
It's also on the packaging. Conforms with the rules of golf, which is the exact statement that
is that the allowable verbiage?
They do not like, USGA does not want their name.
That's the allowable verbiage there, right?
The allowable verbiage. Yep. They do not want their name on the packaging. So they give you the verbiage that you're allowed to put on your packaging, which we follow.
Good for you. Well, you just kind of dropped a hint here. Is Tiger using this? I mean, are there any players on any professional tour, whether it would be the top tour, the competing exhibition tour, or even a long drive? Are there any players that have had success with the tee, or that are using it?
Yeah, so we on the long drive circuit, we did have a number of guys using them on the long drive. Particularly, Maurice Allen uses them in his events and through the long drive circuit. For the last few years now, he has been involved with us and using the product and having some good success with it too. In terms of the PGA and the other tours, I am not familiar with anybody that is using it. If they are, they very well could be, and we don't know. But that's a great topic. I'd love to ask you and learn more to see what would the psychology be behind PGA players and their golf tees, because I know you have this long-standing stigma of, well, the wooden golf tee is, the tried and true standard, and there, what would lower the barrier for a PGA player to try it? Because if I can offer them, 2 or 3 yards straighter on a 25-yard fairway, I would imagine that would be considered low-hanging fruit and a competitive edge. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to try that.
Well, considering that professional golfers don't pay for anything, they don't want to buy a box of these. It's like, what do you mean I got to pay for these? It's like, come on, man. It's a small company. Give them a break. Go ahead and pull out your wallet. It's there. It's thick.
Yeah.
Buy some tees.
Yeah, I would say, if there are any competitive golfers and professional golfers that are looking to try it, we would certainly be interested in providing them some product to try it out and for themselves to see if there's a benefit that they feel that they can carry into their game.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back. Okay, well, whether the tour players and the professionals use them or not, let's talk about why we need to use them. what are the benefits of Flightpath golf tees that you've not, designed into these tees, but your research and your testing has proven why these are superior tees to just the old-fashioned wooden tee that we snap every time we hit the ball?
And yeah, that's a great question, Fred. That what we did see a large benefit to the product that we did see that we didn't intend on having. It wasn't built in directly. It came out indirectly. Was the fact that you have to aim the tee, and that sounds like such a simple concept, but when you stand on a tee box and you look out into the fairway, your eyes are attracted to the sand bunkers. Your eyes are attracted to the trees on the right, the pond on the left, everything but the fairway.
The fence on the left, yeah.
And typically, from a psychological standpoint, when you have that thought in your mind, you typically end up hitting in the direction you're thinking of. So because we provide the golfer the, I guess you could call it a subconscious positive affirmation, the last thought they have is thinking of the fairway. They aim the tee, so they're aiming at the fairway. The last thought in their head before they tee off is, I aimed it at the fairway. I'm looking at the fairway. I'm not looking left. I'm not looking right. And that typically led to a better outcome on their drive after that. And so from a psychological standpoint, it did, and me, myself included, I noticed it when I started getting out on the course and aiming to the fairway. I started forgetting about, the bunkers that I'm seeing on the left or the trees on the right. And it improved my game. Something indirect. Oh,
and mine as well. You could not convince me that these have not helped my drives.
That is really great.
And anybody who's like, no, just go ahead, try something else, Fred. I'm like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I like my clubs. I like my putter. It's like, I love these tees and I'm not going to lose them. But when you have success like this, what inevitably is going to happen is you're going to get competition. You're going to get knockoffs. Have you had any? But you've got patents on these things. So have you had any problems?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. We have a U.S. patent. We put the U.S. patent number on the box to make it very blatantly clear. And the U.S. patent was the claims in the patent were designed to make sure we cover the orientations and the performance benefit of the tee. So we put the U.S. patent number on the box. We also hold registered trademarks for Flightpath. We hold registered trademarks for our slogan, "A tee above all." U.S. patents and U.S. registered trademarks. I would say right after our first interview, Fred, from last year, late December last year, I started seeing a foreign product knockoff appearing online. And
it wasn't the Golf Smarter's fault, I promise.
Well, by February of this year, that product made its way into a number of different distributors into the U.S. market and started flooding the U.S. market. And this wasn't just a knockoff. This was a complete copycat. It was the exact same product. They took our marketing materials. My demonstration videos and marketing materials from the website was put on this product. So they stole our marketing materials. The packaging is exactly the same. They copied the style. They copied the design. They stole the logo, "A tee above all." And they took a blatant patent infringement, blatant copy of the product, exact replica. And then they put their slogan on it. So that started flooding the market in February. And we saw...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it was a good lesson learned. I would say for most entrepreneurs and small businesses, if you did not protect your product intellectually, that 2 to 3 year mark, if you have success, that's typically when foreign markets will invade and take over. In this case, it's a success story because we had the U.S. patents. So from February to July, we spent about 6 months fighting this foreign product that got into a number of different distributors online. And thankfully, with the U.S. patent protection, a lot of the U.S. distributors and any companies that were in the U.S. that respect intellectual property that we filed with, we were able to cease and desist and have those products taken down. And especially on Amazon, it flooded Amazon late this last year. And thankfully, Amazon offers an independent review. They have a third-party independent review where you can submit your intellectual property. They review the intellectual property, and if they feel that is an infringement, they will remove products that are infringing on U.S. intellectual property. And thankfully, that was the case.
Can you stop these competitors? Can you stop these thieves from stealing?
We can stop them on U.S. soil. So if it hits U.S. soil, it's a blatant, fraudulent infringement on our intellectual property. We in their market, it's going to be difficult because we don't have protection in their market. But anything in the U.S. certainly, and they've made in addition to the exact replica. There's 3 or 4 knockoffs. There's another version now that's not an exact copy, but is still a blatant infringement of our intellectual property. So now there's multiple variations of this product coming out. And then again, just taking our marketing materials and just putting their logo on it.
Wow.
The product they use cheaper materials. They use cheaper packaging. It's not the authentic product. So I urge anybody, if you're looking to buy the true product, Flightpath Golf Tees, it would be through our website, our Amazon channel, our Shopify store, and those areas. But there are websites that still have that product up, and we're taking, we send one cease and desist letter at a time. Distributor takes it down, and then another distributor, it pops up, a week later. So it's been it's been a big lesson in understanding and navigating intellectual property as a small business, and just how quickly foreign markets can try to take advantage of that.
Are there other foreign markets that you can go in and try to get your patent and your trademarks, or is it only work in the United States because it's a U.S.-based product?
So with U.S. patents, when you file a U.S. patent and you are accepted for a U.S. patent, you have 1 year from the date of acceptance to file that patent in other markets. And there is no international patent. You can file, I believe the European Union has a patent treaty, European patent treaty, which gives you access to 15 or 16 different countries there. But each country you need to file individually into those countries. So you have 1 year from the time that you get acceptance to do that. Our approval was in 2018. So if I wanted protection in a number of different markets, it would have been by 2019. So we do not have that. We have U.S. intellectual property. But again, international patent protection for a small business, the amount of money that you are going to get into, you could sink yourself right out of the gate if you try to protect yourself in markets that even with the intellectual property, you're not really going to do much. So we decided to double down on our branding. Flightpath, people know the brand, people understand the brand. And once a brand, once you associate the brand with a product, it's easy to disseminate the knockoffs.
Yeah. And plus with a product like this, you need at least a year, if not 2 or more, to is it going to work? Is it worth investing? 1 year is not a lot of time.
That's right.
For a smaller product that you'd want to be able to try to protect.
That's right.
Internationally.
And
wow.
And those are the waters to navigate. I strongly urge small businesses to file for U.S. patent protection when they're ready to, close to getting the market. And just know if you don't get that protection, and you start becoming successful, the foreign markets will identify it, they will infringe on it, and they will try to take it over. So we're luckily around August, we were able to kind of win that battle against a lot of these foreign distributors coming into the country with the product. So we were able to successfully do that. And we've also been successful in branding the product appropriately too. And to follow up on that as well, in terms of resiliency and given, the geopolitical tensions that we're seeing these days, we also made a considerable effort to manufacture the product in the U.S. Though it would be more expensive, our injection molding facilities, the product is made in the United States. So that also helped, keep us up and running and also gave us those 2 or 3 years before the foreign markets were able to take it over. So we manufacture in the U.S., we keep it in the U.S., and we maintain our intellectual property here in the U.S.
All right, listen, we're going to check out what's happening on Golf Smarter Mulligans this week, and to hear what, old episodes we're bringing back from the Golf Smarter archives. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about what's next for Flightpath Golf Tees. This week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, we go back to an interesting conversation that may be a bit dated, but is fascinating nonetheless, because we speak to Aubrey McCormick, who was a multiple-time contestant on Golf Channel's Big Break reality show that ran from 2003 to 2015. She talks about the level of competition and how this type of competition impacted her game, along with what it was like to come back a third time.
The producers, when I walked up for the third time, they all greeted me with open arms, and they welcomed me and said, "Hi, Aubrey, great to see you again." It was never that sort of feeling of, "Oh, great, here she is again." You know, they were very, very welcoming to me, which made me feel like, okay, wow, they remember me. The reason why I believe I got on the show this time was because I was true to who I was. So I wasn't trying to make anyone pick me. I was being true to my roots, true to who I was, meaning answering questions with an honest answer instead of what I thought they wanted to hear. And I believe that's very important. Sure, I could have gone in and been like, yeah, I want to be everybody on this show, and I'm a tough guy. The truth is I'm not, and I just wanted to get on the show because I thought I really deserved a chance.
Originally published in May of 2012, it's episode 241 of Golf Smarter Mulligans with Aubrey McCormick, a contestant on Golf Channel's Big Break. So, if you like the variety of topics and guests that we provide here at Golf Smarter, then don't miss the chance to get insights, advice, and the unique people that make golf so compelling as you join us twice each week for Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans. They're both available for free from wherever you're listening right now. It's awesome that you've got it online on your website, but you also have it available on Amazon. I wasn't aware of that. Are there other major websites that the teas are available?
Yeah. So in addition to, our own Shopify online, our website, online store, our Amazon store is very big and authentic now that we have the intellectual property and the protection on Amazon.
Great.
So that's a big market for us. We have a number of different third-party distributors and companies that are also selling it. So as long as you see the name Flightpath, the branding Flightpath, you're buying the authentic product. So we have a number of different avenues. We are going into 2024, looking at early spring, launching a line of retail packaging. So we should be in local stores through 2024.
Oh, wow. And when do you think that's going to hit?
We're hoping to
in the spring.
We plan on having the product available in early spring, retail blister packaging. And we plan on starting to get our, on the ground and grassroots level so we can get these into the pro shops at the local golf courses, the golf stores, the shops around the country, and a lot of the big box retailers that we, that is a market that we just haven't entered yet. We plan on doing that this year. We're at a position now where we're ready to go there, and we're hoping early spring.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And because you're manufactured in the United States, your supply chain isn't that brutal, is it?
That's correct. Our supply chain is intact. We have a good handle on that, and that allows us to go ahead and ramp up manufacturing and meet the demand that we've been seeing. We had a big increase in sales and a big rush in sales over the last few months. And given that increase in sales, we still are able to diversify and develop this blistered packaging and bring it out.
And why do you think you've had this surge going on in the end of through the end of 2023?
Yeah, I really think a couple things. I think that the product has finally gotten to customers long enough now that they've been able to test it, give it to their friends. Your classic example, have them test it, like it, and start sharing it with their friends and seeing a benefit. So I think we're finally starting to see that 3-year mark where the product has been accepted in the market. It has shown its benefit and its value, and people are ready to capitalize on it. We also, a lot of our sales were being cannibalized by the fraudulent products. And once we were able to get them off of U.S. soil around July, August is when we really got them off of our, coming in from, into the U.S. Around that time. We were able to bring those sales back that we were losing to the foreign knockoff products, those illegal products. So I think it's a little bit of both. This product has been one color. It's in white with 2 sizes, and going into early spring, in addition to retail packaging, we're looking to bring out several colors. So that's coming in early spring as well. And we're ready to diversify the product line it's got a good organic base, and we're ready to start bringing this product to your local stores.
Ooh, a scoop. Colors. Are you going to do like a variety of colors in a box? Are you going to, like a box of, or just like orange ones and blue ones? And what are the colors and what other options are there? Now, you said 2 sizes. I know when we talked last year, you had talked about introducing a longer version. Where does that stand?
Yeah. The product is in 2 sizes right now: 2.75 regular long tee, and then
That's what I use.
3.25 long tee, both in white. So we're looking at bringing out probably 2 or 3 colors in the spring, and then another 2 or 3 colors going into the middle of next year.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, those would be sold as the 8-pack for that color. But I like your idea, Fred. I like the idea of a mixed pack and mixing some colors up. But they'll be available in both sizes in 2 to 3 colors early spring, and hopefully another 2 to 3 colors after that in the middle of the year.
Oh, wow.
The long tees, so we're still, that option there would be a 3.5 or a 4. What we have seen, though, is the large consumer market doesn't typically go for tees longer than 3.25. So that's still very much a niche market and geared towards whether it be long drive athletes, long drive professionals. But in terms of a consumer market, that's still a smaller market. If it is towards the end of next year or 2025, we still hope to pursue that market and build the infrastructure necessary to sell that product. So we're thinking retail packaging first, colors second, and then longer sizes third.
And what about shorter sizes for iron play?
Yeah, the 2.75 is great with irons. You put them in the ground, right? You can stick them down as far as you want.
When I break them or I snap them, it's generally with an iron.
With an iron, yep. Or especially those, if you use like a wedge or something with a sharp angle on it. But yeah, we keep the 2.75 for iron play. We haven't thought of bringing out something shorter than 2.75. We haven't seen too much feedback from our consumers on wanting something shorter. We have seen the feedback on the 3.25 that they really like, and then more feedback on the longer tees. So that's a good thought. That's something to think about. We haven't really seen that.
Yeah, because I know that when I use an iron and I put this tee in, and I like to tee it up for my iron play, really low, so that the ball is as if it's sitting on, the fairway or something, just not that high off the ground, unless I'm trying to shorten the distance a little bit.
Right.
And so sometimes the ground's too hard, and this is so long that it doesn't go all the way in, and I got to pound it in there. And I'm like, God, if I only had one that was an inch or an inch and a half. But the head is, because of the arrow and the direction, I love the indentations for the finger and your thumb to place it in. I just love the feel of it, the design of it when I put it in. I just think it's great.
Thank you, Fred. Yeah, we really hope, if there are people out there that haven't tried the product, we really encourage them, give it a try it out, see how you feel with it. Give it a round. Give it one round, 18 holes with the product. Yep. And, after 18 holes, if you feel that, there's a benefit there, we hope that we have a customer there that we can, really supply a good product to.
Well, I'll tell you, after one round, what I'm going to tell you is it'll still be there. It will still be intact. These things last a long time. I actually, I traveled this year. I went back east to play with my nephew. And I brought my shoes, my glove, a sleeve of balls, 2 sleeves of balls, and 1 tee. And I lost it on the 4th hole.
Oh, no.
And my game just deteriorated from that. I was like, I can't find my tee. I don't want to play with these crappy tees. And it was like everything just went downhill from that point on. And he's like, what is wrong with you? I said, I lost my tee. Leave me alone.
Oh, no, we got to get you another pack out there. Yeah.
Okay.
The pack of 8 should get you through the 18.
Yeah, well, here, you can listen right now. Hear that? That's my empty box shaking. I'm out of tees.
Yeah, we got to fix that for you, Fred.
Well, I would love that. But also, you're encouraging people to try it out. and you and I had a conversation before we started this recording, and I'm so excited to announce that if you're a Golf Smarter listener and you'd like to try them out, we are now going to be giving the Flightpath golf tees away to our Golf Smarter ambassadors who introduce a new episode of Golf Smarter. So I will pitch this again at the end of the episode, but now our choices are going to change. We'll have the gloves from Red Rooster Golf, we'll have the Tony Manzoni video, and a box of Flightpath golf tees. And I hope that the Golf Smarter listeners will take advantage of this and introduce an episode, tell us where you're from, where you play, and what episode it is, and you too can get a box of Flightpath golf tees. Daniel, I'm really excited about this, and I'm so grateful that you guys are willing to participate.
Thank you very much, Fred. Oh, it's always a pleasure being on, talking with you, and having the opportunity to give you an update where we are and how we're growing. It means a lot to us, and we really appreciate it.
And I just am going to keep following you guys, and so excited for your continued growth, and really curious to see what colors come in the box, if there's multicolors or just one color.
And we'll make sure to fix that empty box problem you're having. We'll take care of that going into the day.
Thank you very much. Oh, Daniel, have a happy holidays. Thanks so much for coming back on the show, and best of luck with continued success for you and your dad.
Thank you very much, Fred. Happy holidays to you and all the fans out there.
So this week I was diagnosed with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel syndrome, a pinched nerve, and the doc threw in, yeah, your age, it's probably arthritis too. And Merry Christmas to you too, doc. Gee, thanks. Now, I remember a number of years ago, I had a bout with tennis elbow and took a lot of winter away from playing golf, and things got better, as did my game. But a few months ago, I made a slight change in my grip where I rotated my left hand clockwise slightly, and for the first time I was hitting a draw off the tee with some regularity. Could that have contributed to the tennis elbow again? Sure. Tennis elbow? Right? Actually, I'm pretty sure that tennis elbow is when the pain is on the outside of the arm, and golfer's elbow is when it affects the inside. But I'll get a physical therapist and a golf fitness expert on the show in the near future to learn more about the distinction. For me. But staying away from golf won't prevent me from creating new content. The problem is the carpal tunnel syndrome. If that continues to get worse, then I have to curtail the amount of time I spend at my computer creating new content. So please, let's all keep our fingers crossed that I don't need to take a break from new episodes. But if I have to, I guess then the winter would be the best time for that. All that is to say that if a Tuesday rolls by in the next month or two and there's no new episode, you know why. I couldn't do it. I want to welcome our newest Golf Smarter ambassador, DJ DeGallo of Valparaiso, Indiana. Now, because all he did was record this week's show opening, DJ is receiving a free link to Tony Manzoni's video of The Lost Fundamental. I invite you to become a Golf Smarter ambassador with the incentive of getting a choice of 3 great gifts for your effort for telling us where you're from and where you play. And what you heard in today's episode is pretty exciting because along with Tony Manzoni's video of The Lost Fundamental, a glove and glove storage compartment from redroostergolf.com, our third choice is now an 8-pack of Flightpath golf tees. I know it's crazy to say this, but I wouldn't be surprised if an 8-pack lasts you an entire year. They're that sturdy and that good. Learn more at flightpathgolf.com. Flightpath golf tees, a tee above all. So here's your chance to try them out for free. Just write to me directly and I'll send you simple instructions on how to record an episode opening that takes less than 1 minute. Check out today's show notes to find links about each gift you have to choose from. To see and hear the most compelling and helpful short tips and insights of our podcast interviews for both Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans, please follow us on social at Golf Smarter on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. for our ongoing posts of videos and articles 5 times each week. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for upcoming episodes, or want to join our list of Golf Smarter ambassadors who've received a free gift, write to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com or click on the Hey Fred button when you visit golfsmarter.com.